Gentlemen and Mark, how we doing?
Fuck off.
Great and dandy.
Wonderful.
How about yourself, other gentlemen of the group?
I feel like it's been a really long time since we've all actually been on an episode, and it sucks because we're in the same town and we can't do this live because I had to pack a bunch of shit up, including some of our equipment. So, sorry.
Word. Yeah. Either way, same, but different.
It looks nice. You can tell you just staged the house for a showing, even though it's sold. I know that already.
Half the shit in my house is in a storage unit right now. It is incredible how much garbage I have that I just don't need.
Yeah.
But
Like
we're
a homeowner.
Like, Erica's ready to pop at any second. Like, we're on full-blown baby watch at this point too, and the house construction is fully underway, so everything is just fucked up right now. But it's good.
When is her due date?
It's the 14th, but she was early last time, and she's tiny. So yeah.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. It's all
Seriously.
happening.
Yeah,
Just
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm wondering what it's going to be like when I'm quote unquote done, like in the new house. We've got a new kid and everything, and am I just going to be bored, or am I going to find new shit? The answer is the latter. I'm going to find new shit to freak out about. But
Naturally, yeah, you just have another newborn baby. But this one's the second time around. People always say, it's easier because
that is
you're
the
like,
opposite of everything
been there,
everyone
done that.
says to you.
Really?
If someone is a parent and you're telling them that you're about to have your second kid, they relish telling you how hard it is. Mark, can you confirm that?
It's harder because I just spend a lot more time, like days with Nolan, where I have to figure out what to do with him while Kelly is, napping because she was up feeding Emmett. It's just a different dynamic.
Can you confirm, though, that everyone tells you it's harder?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a shitty thing. Like I've ranted about this before. That's a shitty thing to say to people. Like it's like saying, you had your knee replaced and your grandma's asking you, and you tell grandma, yeah, this is gonna fucking suck, grandma.
So is it the third? People are saying that maybe the third is where I thought it was the third that it gets like overwhelming because you're outnumbered.
Being a parent is overwhelming regardless, and every kid is different.
I would assume so.
The hardest thing is going to be when your second child is mobile as well. Like right now, honestly, it's like sometimes I forget he's a great baby. He'll just be laying there, not making a peep.
That's a great
and
baby.
I'll be like,
great babies,
he's
just lay there.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh shit, he's been here the whole time. I didn't even realize. But when he starts moving and crawling, and then Nolan's fucking bashing his head off the wall, that's when it's going to be tough, really tough.
Yep.
Dad things.
Non-dad things though. Let's get off the dad cast. What's going on, guys? We got to catch up on what's the hot goss.
The hot goss for what? And just in general on the streets, we
I
got
just
shows watching. We're going to jump into recommendations right off the bat.
I feel like I want to talk about one stupid thing that's going on. I don't know why. I usually am kind of on the outs of celebrity drama, but this shit with Olivia Wilde is starting to pile up after this "Don't Worry, Darling" movie that she directed. So let's
I've
back up
just
a little bit.
recently heard about this.
She
I've
was
just recently
engaged
heard
to
about this.
Jason Sudeikis, right?
Ted Lasso.
She goes into making this movie with Harry Styles after Shia LaBeouf gets kicked off the movie, which is another story. We'll come back to that. But
Hmm.
apparently, everybody on set says that she was with Harry Styles before she was even broken up with Jason Sudeikis.
I
Flash
believe it.
forward to San Diego Comic Con. She gets served papers for custody of their kids during a panel. And obviously, that is not great optics for anybody
Mm,
involved. It likely had nothing to do with Jason Sudeikis, but still is kind of fucked up. And now she's just coming back. And this shit's always ugly when it goes public, but these people seem petty as fuck.
hmm.
Brick, what did
That's
you
Timing
hear
pretty
is
about
petty.
this?
That's pretty much what I heard was Olivia Wilde freaked out because she got served divorce papers or custody papers like on a panel. So yeah, the
I,
timing wasn't great, but also you
So
cheated
let's
on
keep
them.
going with that.
It's
Let's
kind of a
add on to that.
shitty go for it.
Because she came at your boy, Shia LaBeouf, saying that she
Which
fired him off the movie because he was making everybody uncomfortable and it was weird.
what do
But
you expect?
Shia
Shia
LaBeouf,
LaBeouf.
hang on, Shia LaBeouf kept receipts. And apparently Olivia Wilde left him a message like begging him to come back, saying she was going to make it
Hmm.
work and everybody would get together and work it out, and basically blaming shit on Florence Pugh, who's the other star of this movie. I'm excited to see whether this movie's a fucking complete train wreck because everything that was going on behind the scenes definitely will be.
if it's a WB movie, it'll be probably canned and probably put into the losses. I don't know who's making this movie, but
Fucking
if
tax
that's
write
the
off, yeah.
case, yeah, no, they might just can it all together and be like, "Fuck this movie." It'll just take the money and as a loss. I mean, what's this
Let's
movie
just
even
keep
supposed to
going
be
rapid
about?
fire then, because HBO is really stepping in it. They canceled and pulled off a lot of kind of like independently animated cartoons and things like that. Shit that would have been through Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, some of the
Hmm.
lesser known channels that had really cult followings. And once they announced this merger with Discovery Plus, all that shit disappeared. They gave zero warning to any of the creators. It's been a wild couple of months in like the entertainment circle.
So it's kind of a catch-22, I feel, because it's like HBO is cutting all of their programming in order to focus on their flagships, which is like
Game of Thrones.
good,
You can
which
just
is
say Game of
good
Thrones.
in
That's it.
terms of, right, which is Game of Thrones, yeah, whatever. But they're the one so they want to throw money. I feel like they want to throw the money in the right places because they've failed in so many different areas. But then on the flip side of things, people are just clamoring for content, period. So like the fact that Apple TV doesn't have like as a bunch of new programs that are continuously coming out makes people not want to get Apple TV because people no one has Apple TV. People have Apple TV, but like a lot of people are just like, oh, there's nothing really on there. And so
I
like
think a lot
they
of
have really
people,
quality content, but at the same time, it just feels like there's not enough of that content to warrant having it and owning it. So if they're cutting all of these like programs that could potentially be good, they don't know yet because they haven't really had maybe they didn't let them breathe, I guess, enough. Um, but at the same time, you also do want them to pour all their money into their flagship, which is Game of Thrones and Game of Thrones.
I think that a lot of people only have HBO Max, or I'm sorry, Apple TV because they have an iPhone and it came with their plan or something, or like they bought a MacBook and they had a year of it included. Or,
Fair
I mean, I
enough.
told you guys I got a 3 month subscription for free because Best Buy just has them. You can go there and sign up for it, and they'll just give it to you for three
Hmm.
months. I don't see how that's just a sustainable model, but
It's
You
not.
get
what the fuck
people in
do
the
I
door
know?
because then you get people in the door because the shows that they do have on there are pretty quality, I would say,
But the
for Apple
HBO
TV.
thing, I don't want them to move all of their money to their flagships because that eliminates creativity. Then you've just got a monopoly of the same shit, and that's. Did you guys? Everybody saw this viral clip going around earlier this week of Matt Damon basically explaining why Hollywood is the way it is right now. The movies that are getting made are the ones that get made instead of, big indie projects that he used to do back in the mid 90s, where basically um, there's no there's no second influx of cash for selling DVDs or VHS tapes. He
Ah,
he
yes.
puts it in a really succinct, uh, good explanation. So if you haven't seen it, it's he was on Hot Ones. It was a clip going around the internet like earlier this week.
Yeah, like literally they put out movies and just because they even if it didn't do good in the actual theaters, there was that back
The
end
cult
revenue
following, yeah.
from the DVD sales, from even from the Blockbuster renting like things.
I
There's just not
challenge a
nobody's
lot of
renting
people.
anything.
I don't think a lot of people understand this. Go back and look at some of the movies that you loved or that you still love that were maybe released 20 years ago and look what they did in the box office. Look at some cult favorites out there like Grandma's Boy absolutely tanked. People fucking
Hmm.
love that movie. A lot of that
Very
stuff
true.
that you look back on now failed and would have been considered a failure, would be considered a failure in today's environment, which is why that shit's not getting made.
And you're saying it didn't fail though eventually because people bought the DVDs.
Exactly.
Well,
Hmm.
there was at least that secondary revenue stream where if they weren't going to the theaters, they were at least getting something on the back end.
Yeah. And that was true too of a lot of R-rated movies because obviously there were more restrictions for younger kids to getting to see it, but then you would get it at the Family Video or the Blockbuster down the street and you'd get a chance to watch it then, and that's when it picked up steam for a lot of movies. So that portion of the business is gone.
Right. And you don't get that residual from having get it views on Netflix, right? Or
Doesn't
is that how
seem
they
that
get
way.
paid is views? Yeah, because
Man, I don't know how much we're going to talk about this fucking movie, but shit. Kevin Hart is fully into his Adam Sandler phase where he's just got to
Hmm.
deal with Netflix and he gets his friends together to do movies. And, oh, this is my opportunity to meet Seal, who I've always wanted to meet. And Seal's going to be in this movie because I like Seal. And we're going to use the song that nobody even knows Seal for.
Yeah, I was like, what is that song? What?
I remember that song. I remember the song.
I remembered it after a while, but I was like, oh, yeah, this is not, I don't remember this as Seal. I don't know.
Christopher Rose
Uh,
wouldn't have fit though. You know.
Yeah, wild times. But so like I said, baby's coming in at any point. Things might be a little rocky over the next couple of weeks. We're going to try and be a little more consistent with the content coming out, but we appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and sticking it out with us. So that said,
I'm pi-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say last thing. I'm pissed that they canceled a lot of DC animated shows or like potential movies they're gonna come out with because that's pretty much the only good thing that's coming out of DC right now.
And you think
Dietrich
the
Baker,
animated stuff would be easier to produce for a cheaper cost than like live action shit?
it is, but they're just
Yeah.
scaling a lot of that shit back to focus on like hyper focus on certain things. Dietrich
Hmm.
Baker, who was voicing Batman in some things, he actually voices Batman in the Harley Quinn show. He was supposed to do one of the I can't remember what it was called. It was like something detectives.
Hmm.
He was going to do that show, and he found out that it was canceled via Twitter and just tweeted out like, "Oh, I was on this. That sucks."
That's such a shitty way to
Dude,
find out
whatever
about it.
HBO is doing, whatever
Seriously.
Warner's doing, is they are really fucking up. But yeah. All right,
All bad
let's
taste
move
in
on
the
to some
mouth of the
trailers
consumers.
here. I'm gonna play a quick drop.
News to us.
And a little inside baseball right now. I need to go help get my son. So, Mark, you want to go ahead and kick this off and talk about a trailer?
Wednesday.
Let's talk about one I actually care about.
Okay.
Let's talk about Lord of the Rings, Brick. Rings of Power.
Ooh.
Because Smithers actually hasn't seen Lord of the Rings.
Wow, he called himself a movie critic.
This is coming out September 2nd, and I can't tell you anyone or any character that is like the mainstay of this. Overall, though, these fucking trailers have looked awesome. I'm pumped for this.
Some of the, I guess, wild beasts that they're going to be encountering look pretty grand and like over the top, which is great. Exactly what you want for Lord of the Rings. And the other big part that I kind of just is the best part about the Lord of the Rings lore is just all of the giant landscape wide shots of all of like the elven cities and all of
Mhm.
like the mountains and like the cascading waterfalls overall, like the house, like, everything about that is just so beautiful and just like well done and well created that it looks like they took their time on it, which is what you need for a Lord of the Rings series. You need to put
Looks like
that.
they put a lot of money into CGI and just effects for this.
Yeah, Middle Earth is awesome. And what year is this supposed to take? This is supposed to take place prior to all of the events that took place in the movies, right? Or
I
no?
think you're right. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there was one character I couldn't put a name on him, but I think he had a big role in the trilogy, and he looked younger. So I assume it's before the whole trilogy.
Was he the Hobbit guy?
No, he was the guy with the beard, or maybe he was a hobbit. Sometimes, like the hobbits, I can't even tell if they're a hobbit or not because they do a close-up shot. I'm like, wait, is that guy really short? I can't really tell unless
Yeah,
I
it's
see his feet.
Yeah, the Hobbit or the dwarf. But the Hobbit guy I was talking about is like we have hearts that are even bigger than our feet or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
That's why I assumed he was a Hobbit. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. When does this come out again? Next week, right?
September
September
2nd.
1st.
Yeah, that's next week. And this seems like a perfect time. I've always wanted to go back and rewatch the trilogy because I think I was maybe 14 when I watched this. I don't know when it released, but I pretty much watched these when they came out instantly. And I haven't watched them since. So I think this would be a good opportunity to go back, watch the trilogy, and get into this.
Yeah, I might be also down to try and rewatch this trilogy. Maybe we'll do a watch party.
Yeah, and Smithers can catch up. I'm so blown he hasn't seen these. As much as he loves the like D&D stuff and all the lore behind that.
He got into D&D a little later. So the fact
Yeah.
that these movies came out like you said when you were like 14, so he got into D&D a little too late.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Cobra Kai season 5. Tell me what's going on, Brick, because I'm still on season 3, I think.
Seriously. So you okay. Damn, I don't want to spoil it for you, dude.
Everything's always spoiled in these trailers, or just I always see they're not trailers for new seasons. They like had commercials that were coming out while the season was going on, and I'm like, you guys are telling me everything. I know the two guys, what's his name, son, and the other
Robbie
kid.
Keane,
They
Robbie
still hate
Keane,
each other.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're gonna keep their beef, obviously, because that's what keeps the show driving and going. It's literally the inverse of Johnny Lawrence and Ralph Macchio's character. From that point of view, they're going to keep that rivalry going still because they have had that unnecessary rivalry for years and years as well. It's just like part of the show is just rivalry. But Terry Silver is basically taken over more than just the Valley, but he's going global, or he's going national, and then maybe next season, if they do it, he'll go international if they can't stop Cobra Kai. But the threat just keeps somehow getting bigger and bigger, and it's always going to just end up in a karate tournament in the Valley, which as it should.
It's so funny whenever there's a like really dire situation. Like I saw in the trailer that old fuck was in jail now. That was
Priest.
He was the head of
Priest.
or coach or whatever, and he's like doing all this karate on inmates. I'm like, you would die instantly. You would get shanked.
His legs look like they're about to get taken out underneath him at any moment. Like he can barely like stand. But then I love when they cut to him and then they do like the karate motions, but they like you could kind of tell it's just definitely not that guy because he's just way too old to be doing some of these moves.
Somebody would come up to him and just fucking go like shake him 4 times.
Straight up,
fall to the floor.
One leg sweep, that guy's got a broken hip, guaranteed.
Like in that Chappelle skit with the Real World, where they shank the guy and he's on the ground. He's like,
yes.
why would you do this?
Chad's dad
bleeding out. Who's your favorite character? If you can't say Johnny, who is your other favorite character in this show?
So besides Johnny Lawrence, because Johnny Lawrence is clear cut the absolute best character because he's just so out of touch and hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Second best character, it might be Ralph Macchio's cousin Vinny, who like started that. Remember he got the bikers to try and burn Johnny Lawrence's car down. He's just such a fucking idiot, klutz, dumbass that like these decisions are so stupid, but your intentions are there, but you're just a dumb idiot who just like, I don't know, just a fucking Guido Wop guy. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah, what do you know? Vinny. He's
Yeah,
an interesting cat.
This I don't know if this new season is going to make me get back into it. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I feel like I've seen enough, but maybe one day I'll just turn it back on and continue watching it.
As you should.
It's just it's so like awkwardly bad, the acting.
No, it
at
has
points.
no right to be as good as it is what it is. You hate to love it.
Oh my God. All right.
September 9th, Netflix. Let's go. Season 5.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out.
Can we get to the best trailer that we've released?
Go ahead.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Looks
That's
fucking
the one I was going to talk about. Yeah.
Amazing. So in this one, it's going to be an anthology from Guillermo del Toro. It's coming out October 25th. And with this, he's doing a lot of like practical effects with monsters, and all of the actual monsters that he's creating just look so real, and like it doesn't feel like it's your average, horror story or like
your cookie cutter
movie.
Monster. It looks like he's gonna bring us some shit we've never seen monster wise, which is what we want to see, especially
obviously.
Yeah, Pinocchio, definitely. Yeah, this like you, Brick. This was the one that stood out to me. I like how he's in the trailer. They basically just pan to him and he's like, I let the directors take this where they wanted it to go and just do what they wanted. And he gave us, a good look to some of the monsters and some of the type of nightmares that they're going to be showcasing in this. And it looks really fucking amazing.
It's some of the titles that they have here, the autopsy, the dreams in the witch's house, and just like lot 30, they have like all these really aggressive imagery that like is really creepy, but it does have a little bit of a period piece kind of sucked in the middle of it, because it's not made, it's kind of has like that old school like big giant Victorian house, like you're kind of all alone in this old-timey era, and then there's like ghosts and ghouls and goblins, but all the practical effects and everything look incredible and scary and like realistic.
Ghosts and ghouls and what?
And goblins. I don't know what I said.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
Next up is White Noise from Noah Baumbach. What is it with Adam Driver doing these weird movies where his face never changes? Remember that zombie movie he did that sucked?
With Bill Murray, right?
Yeah, where he just does this.
I didn't watch that.
Thing. It was really bad.
I didn't watch it either. You gave it such a scathingly bad review that I couldn't even. I was like, all right, I guess I won't even bother.
So Noah Baumbach has won an Oscar, and he did Marriage Story most recently with Adam Driver. I don't know. This is supposed to be, I don't know, I guess what happens to a super awkward family when there's a potential cloud of toxic gas around.
So it's an apocalyptic dark comedy, apparently. It's taken from a 1985 novel.
So the novel was like one of Time's 100 best written books of like the last 100 years or something like that. So it's apparently a well-known book. I have not read it. But going through my research, I did find that. I don't know much about it. That's where the toxic cloud of gas comes from, to my understanding, though. Right. I don't know, Mark, does this intrigue you at all?
Yeah, mainly because Adam Driver is starting to look like Nick Cage in whatever character he is in this trailer.
All right. I could go for a crazy Adam Driver.
I'm always down to see an Adam Driver show or movie.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, the premise here, it just says Jack Gladney, professor of Hitler studies at the college on the hill. Just Hitler studies. That's a new one for me. Have you ever heard of Hitler studies?
I mean, is that what they teach to Hitler youths? I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's just a very bizarre.
Yes, it is. Obviously, it's some sort of scathing take on society today, or some bullshit like that. But
Good
yeah,
Lord.
sure. This feels pretentious as fuck.
Adam Driver. I'm just thinking about all of his roles. He's super versatile. Like everything he does is different in some nature.
The best thing
He's
he
not
did
Adam
was
Sandler,
that
is
Saturday
what
Night
I'm
Live
saying.
skit where he was undercover boss as Kylo Ren. That will
Yeah.
remain untouched.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that. I might have to check that out.
It's really well done. Okay.
Hell yeah.
This Pinocchio movie, it just looks like it's a prank. This thing that's coming to Disney Plus, it looks like they're moving it up a little bit, the Tom Hanks version. Who let him do this accent? What is going on here?
I showed this to my mom. My mom thought it looked awesome. She loves Pinocchio though. But
Maybe
I also
we're
like
not the
thought it looked
target
good.
audience then.
I thought it looked pretty good too. Anything with Tom Hanks, I'm just like, unless he's like playing a captain on a ship, it's gonna be good in my opinion. I just like the way I liked the live action for it. It's just classic. Gonna have a bunch of awesome colors and good CGI, and it's just a classic tale that
It's a weird
I'm
fever
fine
dream
with.
looking thing. I don't like the character design and
I don't like the characters at all. Pinocchio always weirded me out. Got this like frumpity ticket guy, like, and it's just weird.
Is it weird that Pinocchio is being made at the same time, pretty much, but with Netflix and also Disney Plus? Did it just become like a free property?
I think that's what
for
it is.
people,
I think
or-
it entered public domain.
Huh. And then you'd think if it was Disney, they'd be like, oh, we'll just push the Pinocchio movie out sooner so that we can maintain the rights to it.
I think they
But
just don't
no.
care at this point.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
true.
what his name is. Jiminy Cricket. Got it.
Yeah,
I was
Jiminy
trying to
Cricket.
figure out what the fuck you were talking about.
I didn't know what I was talking about
Frumpity
either until
Snicket? What did you say?
yeah. Frumpity Cricket or some shit. I don't know.
I don't think.
Dude,
you
if I
even
saw
said
this guy in
cricket.
my
he's literally a cricket. How did you not get
I said
the
ticket,
cricket part?
I think. Like I thought he was a tick, not like serving.
Thought he was a
tickets. Like, I thought he was a tick. Yeah, I don't know. If I saw this guy on my
The
windowsill,
life
I would
sucking out of a dog.
I would smash him. Dude, if he was chilling on my windowsill, just like, come over here, I gotta tell you something. I'd be like, dude,
I
you're
would
about to get
get the
fucking
can
swatted.
of Raid and a lighter,
Yeah.
and we would roast him. Yeah.
Straight out of the Sid book of fucking torture from Toy Story, dude. What the fuck?
That would be a good Guillermo crossover because he's doing a Pinocchio too, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
he is. He's doing it for Netflix though.
Like,
They have a
why
really
do we
good
need
cast
two
for that one
Pinocchios?
too.
That I mean, yeah, Ewan McGregor,
Yeah,
untouchable.
yeah. You and McGregor, Christopher Waltz,
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Christoph Waltz. That's right.
You know
But
what,
there's-
dude?
I mean, he's
this
got
is why we
Kate
play because you
Blanchett.
say the name, you remember the guy, and then I just correct the name, and then we're all good.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah. All right, last trailer. Amazon didn't like that HBO was getting all this attention for their Dragon show, so they released a bunch of Lord of the Ring trailers, and this
We did
kind of
this
looks
already.
like they spent $500 million on it, if I'm being
Yeah,
perfectly honest.
This was the first
Yeah.
one we talked about. It looks freaking awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. No, the CGI is like what makes Lord of the Rings so good, and they
Is this
didn't
gonna make you watch
spare
it?
any expense.
I kind of want to watch this and never watch the movies, just so I can, I can say, no, dude, I know all about Lord of the Rings, and specifically be talking about this.
Only that.
Just so I can further enrage Lord of the Rings fans. Seriously, I've
seen the
never
movies.
encountered another fandom that was like, "You've never what?" any harder than this.
I've watched them. I can't even
Star
tell you what
Wars.
happened in them though. All I know is they went to Mordor or whatever, and there was the eye guy, and then they brought the ring there and threw it in the lava. That's all I remember.
I've never seen it. I know more than that.
Yeah. Ashley's birthday is May 4th, and she's never seen Star Wars, and she gets shit all the time for like, May the 4th? You've never seen Star Wars? May the 4th be with you? Just like, yeah, just kill yourself, actually.
Dude, I do like the Smeeple guy. I like that guy.
Schmeagol.
Smeeple?
Schmeeple.
Good lord, who gave us a show? Did you not
Nobody.
cover any
Nobody
other
gave
trailers
us a
then?
show.
Has
We
everything
just
else
took
been
it.
done?
We did. We didn't do any
We talked
actual
Cobra Kai.
news.
Yeah, fuck it. All right.
We didn't talk about Wednesday Addams, if you want to
We
talk
didn't
about
talk about
that.
Wednesday.
So I'm interested in this because I like the Addams Family property. I don't know how I feel about Luis Guzman as
Yeah.
Gomez.
I liked him as, I was like, yeah, this guy fucking fits Gomez. Just like that creepy, like, I don't know, his face is something just off about it, that he can be that weird.
Yeah, but Raul
That weird
Julia did
dad.
it, and he had like charisma and he was suave, and that is not Luis Guzman. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to feel about this. I'll give it a shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for this premise. Some piranhas bite
It
a
looks
kid's
kind of
dick
fucked
off, so
up.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing that Mark is in.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, I'm in. It looks creepy, and Tim Burton. It's very Tim Burton, like with all of his. It's like creepy and like, it's just a little fish out of water, pun intended. Kill.
Very Tim Burton. I wonder if that's a compliment or not.
No, it's not.
All right,
Fair
gentlemen,
enough.
let's talk about a little bit of news here. So I'm just going to, obviously, it's been a couple weeks since we've gone through actual news, but let's just dump a few of these and see if anything rustles your jimmies. So 3 years after the release of the second season of One Punch Man, the creators say we're getting a third season. Thumbs up?
I just watched the second season. I think I have like 4 episodes left, actually.
More
I'm-
Saitama.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it's awesome. It's just such a funny, stupid concept that I just absolutely love. I think it's my favorite anime show.
Really curious how that live action adaptation is going. I would watch
What?
that in a heartbeat. Yeah. I think they're still pretty
When
early
is
on,
that
but I
supposed
just
to
want to
be?
see the character designs when you have to make up a giant half man, half crab creature that wears underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hopefully Guillermo del Toro does it and get some practical effects on that guy.
I'd be on board. All right.
Yeah.
The Umbrella Academy has been renewed for the 4th and final season. Sad to see it go, but I'm glad that they are laying it to rest
Yeah.
Before it gets a little convoluted.
before they
But,
Fast and
like-
Furious it.
Right, and they don't need to. I think they can. It's hard to go bigger than what they've done in the last 2 seasons or last 3 seasons, just because it's been. How do you like or raise the stakes on the world is ending,
Well, you've
the
kinda-
Get sucked in another timeline.
existence is ending, and then like where do you go from there? It's like how do you keep building and building and building? But they do a successful job of doing it in that 3rd season, and I think it would be it might be a little too far before if they had to go a 5th season, then I think it might be to the point where they'd be overusing these characters, and then it might turn into a kill.
Then
But
Game
if you
of
can
Thrones. Yeah.
exactly, if you can succinctly end the series well enough, which is a tough thing to do, not
It
very
is.
many series can actually say that they ended well. But I have hope that this could definitely end well. I love the show; it's fantastic.
Perfect. All right. Shazam and Aquaman have both been moved back by several months. Mark, what does it all mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
It means they
It
stank.
means nobody should give a fuck about these movies anymore. To be honest, I'm over it.
It's kind of sad.
I want to talk about that next headline you have there.
I know you do.
'Cause that's all that matters.
Why I put them right next to each other. Matt Reeves signed a first look deal with Warner Brothers to continue developing his Bat universe, whatever that may entail. Obviously, it won't be Batgirl, but he's already working on a sequel with a new writer. He's continuing the Colin Farrell HBO show with the Penguin. So, and also in the cards as a potential long-rumored Arkham Asylum project, which I would be all in on.
Well, that's what I thought when we saw Batman. I thought that's what we wanted to have happen was Batman is more or less going to get caught in Arkham Asylum with all of the people that he put in there. And
See, I want them
Right?
to do all these things, but they're killing these projects off. Like I'm thinking a lower Star Trek Lower Decks. You know, like it's the comedy cartoon about Star Trek. It's like the people who work as maintenance. I want to see like the comedy of the people who feed the insane people at the insane asylum. Like all this shit that they could be doing that they're just going to kill off these projects and focus on. I don't know. Doesn't seem right to me.
There was some news headline that released saying that Matt Reeves, somebody asked him like, what villains do you want to do next? And he's like, all of them. I'm just curious to see what the character design is going to look like for a lot of these villains that hopefully will come in the next couple of years if he does another 2 movies.
And that's kind of
'Cause-
what they teased in the movies before. In the most recent Batman was like there's a little bit of villains here and there. Kind of they sprinkled in little trinkets, like seeing the Joker that got cut,
Yeah.
but like seeing
That was
like they
to tease it
yeah,
that way
then
just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
right, but they were exploring all of these areas so early on that it makes sense that he's like I'm trying to get all of the villains kind of involved, and there's no one really off the table, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Okay.
He could go like Professor Pig, which would be a super dark, sadistic, gory ass villain to do if you're going to do an
Professor
R-rated
Pig.
Batman.
Tell me about Professor
He's
Pig.
basically like a surgeon butcher guy that wears a pig mask and he just fucking chops people up.
He's been in the video games.
Yeah.
PYG.
He'd be good. I want to see Scarface and why am I
would
blanking?
like to see
the
a
puppet.
good rendition of Victor Zsasz. Because I
Yeah.
don't feel like we've really gotten one of those.
Yeah, what do we get it in Harley Quinn? The first Harley Quinn movie, right?
Yeah, and before that,
Black
they
Mask.
tried to do it in the Gotham TV show. Just not good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Victor Saz was Hank from Barry.
Yes. Yes, he was.
Yep. It was bad.
Yeah.
I fucking love that though.
But the true
so
character
what's-
is a real sadist, and it's a really good, dark character. And we could get a lot of those, hopefully, from Matt Reeves. So hopefully you're right, Mark. We'll see. We'll keep going here. Resident Evil on Netflix had one season. It was bad good, like so bad that it was kind of good. We won't.
Should I watch it?
Throw it on in the
No.
background. Don't
Okay.
pay full attention to it. It does cool things. There's a giant alligator at one point. It has good ideas, but at certain points, I always talk about in horror, like you're looking for what the stupidest thing the character can do is,
And they
if
do
they
it.
do it, then it's not good, and that happens a lot. So
Every time you say that, I always think of the Scary Movie reference where they grab the banana instead of like all of the weapons. My favorite reference. It's just so stupid, but it's like exactly what they do in horror movies. It's so spot on.
speaking of Scary Movie, did you recognize Kevin Hart's wife in this?
Oh, absolutely. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
shit all over these walls, Ray.
No. What?
We'll get into that later. Anyways, last bit of news: Matt Shackman, who was signed on to direct the next Star Trek movie, which would have been the fourth installment, is
Bummer.
supposedly leaving. He was doing WandaVision, and now he's supposedly signed on to do Fantastic Four. So we'll see if they
Wow.
can get this right the seventh or eighth time around, I guess.
Wow.
So clearly they haven't started filming the Star Trek movie or anything like that because that'd be kind of disastrous to have your guy be like, fuck this movie, I'm going to do this one.
It happens, and it usually doesn't work out very well.
No.
What was the one that Ron Howard did? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's move on and do some recommendations, huh? We got a lot to catch up on.
Here's some money. Go see a Star War.
All right. We should probably start with House of the Dragon, right? That's what we're all most intrigued by.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I just got the book actually.
It is a book. It's an actual GRM book, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, George
interesting.
R. R. Martin.
He's never going to finish Game of Thrones. So that's a foregone conclusion, right?
I'm still holding on to hope, but yeah, no, that's dwindling very fast.
Well, good luck with that. I like that everyone is talking about having watched one episode of House of the Dragon and saying that it's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. They got 10 million viewers on the premiere, which is impressive, and they've already renewed it for a season 2, which was announced about 3 days ago. This was the foregone conclusion, is that it was going to get renewed because it had eyeballs, and nothing takes over Twitter like Game of Thrones. It's kind of wild, actually. There's some kind of cultural phenomenon. It might be the shared bloodlust, or I truly don't know. But everyone comes together on Twitter to talk about Thrones, and that just is what it is.
I think that we should do a little. We could do like maybe a Game of Thrones discussion in each one of these episodes because there's just so much to kind of unpack. Remember, we used to do Game of Thrones episodes as like bonus episodes. We might have to go back to that. But it's just so easy to get put back into this universe in this world because they have all of the same sets. They have all of the same names that you
Same
can
CGI,
dragons.
same blonde
It's just
wigs.
But you also have all these preconceived notions of all these characters because of the, things that they did in the actual Game of Thrones, the original series, that you can just immediately apply them to these characters. But then they have the ability, George R. R. Martin and the show creators, is to just like flip all that on their head and just like completely change all these characters. Good characters can be doing bad things, but that's just Game of Thrones in itself. Is just like they love to keep you on edge and keep things twisted and where you're the unexpected and and like the over the top Game of Thrones action and like devastation. They just put you right into it, and it's fucking awesome. It's so easy to get back into. I'm surprised. Like, it's great.
Matt Smith's character is so comedically evil that you're just kind of like,
I like his character a
"All
lot.
right, man."
He
So do I.
was my favorite part of the pilot, or whatever you want to call this.
I
It
saw
wasn't a
the-
pilot because they were doing it anyways.
Look,
But
we'll see.
the first
I'm
episode.
reserving any judgment. I reserve the right to completely change my mind at any point.
The first thing I saw a GIF or like a little video of like Matt Smith's character, like if the king's kid was like still alive, and it just went to that real bros of Semi Valley, and just like, oh, get your boy, dude. What's he staring at, dude? Just like he's a baby. He's just a fucking baby. Just like,
I think it's crazy. I know this is how things were, but I can't wrap my head around this is 270 years prior to what we saw in Game of Thrones. And speaking of same, it's the same shit. They like haven't advanced at all as a civilization. It's like, what, dude, that would be saying like in the 1750s, we're still doing the same shit now. Like, it's fucking crazy when you think about it.
Well, hang on, because that's kind of
Well,
what
from, like-
happened until the Industrial
Yeah.
Revolution happened.
Yeah.
Quite
Yes,
literally, it was like
that's why I started it
1,000.
by saying I get this is how things have been, but it's still like it's hard to wrap my head around just like, ooh, 270 years prior, and it's like everyone's still living in fucking shit.
So the one thing that I like about the show is that it is, I think, going to be more 100% based off of like George R.R. Martin stuff, and there's not as much outside influence into some of this. Also, like some of the smaller little details that they have in there, they kind of explore a little bit more rather than just kind of rushing over it like they did in the last couple of seasons of the original Game of Thrones.
How many
But
times were you the Leo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like pointing at the screen, like oh, it's
Yeah,
a
wait.
reference.
Yeah, way too many times. But I just loved. I loved that it was like kind of a ruthless throne. You know, like they have all those actual jagged swords still up there. Like in the other one, it was much more calm
Dude,
in terms
if
of like.
he dies because he gets an infection because he sat on that chair, that's going to be the biggest pussy move from a king of all time.
Right,
Are
but they
we-
say like if the throne cuts its king, that king is not meant for like ruling, and like that's kind of how they. There's a lot of
You just
the
don't know
subtlety-
anything, Smithers.
Dude, if
Oh,
I was
God.
the king,
There's,
I'd
like,
just be like,
subtle
hey, can you
nods.
get me a more comfortable chair? Because this is dumb as fuck.
Yeah, this chair blows ass. Like fucking
we-
cutting me everywhere.
Are we too far back here in this series to where you think they can't end with the Mad King being born? Can they? Are we too far back?
I pushed.
Okay,
all that
I don't know where
shit
we
in
are.
My brain.
It was 180. It's kind of tough because it's 189 years prior to where the throne was for Khaleesi, I believe.
I thought it was
But-
270 or something.
I thought
Maybe
it-
I'm wrong.
And
Whatever.
on the screen it said like 189 or something like that.
I'm
Either
making a
way,
big old not interested sign on this conversation.
yeah, I
Dude,
just
listen,
don't
Smithers,
know
just
if they're
listen.
gonna. I don't know if they're going to take into consideration like people's average lifestyle. Like, how old are you when you're fucking in the 1200s? Like, you're 35 and you're
40.
dead.
Yeah.
How many of those generations really did live that long? But then again, there's like Aemon Targaryen, who's like 90 fucking 5 and just blind as shit and just like up on the wall. So I mean, I don't know. It could vary time to time, but I don't think they're going to get into it. It would be fucking really insane if they actually did eventually down the road connect everything succinctly. It'd be insane.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Episode 2 tonight. I'll tune in probably.
Oh, yeah.
In the background tomorrow.
Forgot it's Sunday.
I watched. No, I haven't finished Sandman yet. Shit, I was gonna try and finish Sandman before I did this episode and talk about it, but I can't. I don't know how people will take Sandman on Netflix if they haven't read the stories and don't really know what to expect, because it's really dark and pretty gross and just like the worst parts of humanity. It's something. It's still interesting. It's Neil Gaiman who writes just the darkest shit, but it's always so well done. He's been doing a lot of interviews lately and talking about the reception and saying that Netflix, even though it's getting it's getting a lot of eyeballs, they're worried that they won't pick it up for another season because it's so expensive to make, which goes back to our HBO conversation. It also came out that he's been, for years, he was so protective of this story and selling the rights that he blocked the sale to so many people that wanted to make a movie or a TV show. He was like, nope, I'm torpedoing this deal. Fuck you.
Mhm.
So that's cool. But
Why did I think this was previously like a WB show or like a CW show or some shit?
it has that
No,
vibe.
this is the
I'll give you that.
It does.
But I don't think that that's right. I could be wrong, but that would be news to me. But
yeah.
anyways,
Speaking of Game of Thrones,
it's
Gwendolyn
decent.
Christie's in there.
It's really dark. Like there's some real fucked up stuff that happens. It gets pretty bloody and gory, and one of the guys just collects eyeballs. It's
Yuck.
very British. But,
So, would you recommend watching this during the spooky season? Like maybe once October hits, maybe throw that on.
it's not really that
Is it-
spooky though. It's more just gross
Okay.
and gross about humanity. You really got to be in the right mood to watch this. I don't think I don't think I could recommend this to the general populace. But if you read the story, you've probably already watched it anyway.
So Brianna Tarth is in here. Gwendolyn
She
Christie.
is. She is the devil.
Awesome.
She is so gigantic. I love it.
That's literally the complete opposite character of what Brianna Tarth, just most noble do-gooder of all time versus the devil.
Yeah. All right, Brick, you got something you want to talk about?
Mike. It's a TV miniseries about Mike Tyson, and it goes over the wild, tragic, controversial life and his career. 2 episodes are out. It's on Hulu right now. And the person that they got to play Mike Tyson, Trevante Rhodes, is awesome. He's doing a fantastic job. They barely introduced Don King, but we know he's a major player in this. They also have Harvey Keitel's in here. He's great as his manager, his original manager, who he kind of grows up with,
Custom
more or
Bobby,
less.
Who's a fucking
Yes.
legend in boxing.
Exactly. And the story itself was just like kind of drew me in right away, and he's just such a unique guy that it's just like the story just is really, really gripping, and I just can't wait for more to come out.
I feel like there's a whole generation of people who don't know the story of Mike Tyson, which is fine, but
I don't really know the story of Mike Tyson. I remember I was telling my dad, I was like, yeah, and I remember just like telling
his
my
mom
dad,
and some of the other accusations that
Yeah.
may have been true that I don't know.
and everybody just knows that Evander Holyfield fight where he bit off his ear, and then they get into it right away, and they show all these knockouts in slow motion and everything. It's just like this guy is a psycho, but like you see the sympathetic parts of why he kind of came up like that, but he's also a piece of shit. But it's also like the dichotomy and how they play it in the show is really well done. So
The
It's
90s
awesome.
were such a wild time. I was watching, I kind of in and out on that Woodstock documentary. Erica was watching it, and
Sure.
I was 13 at the time, so I kind of remember it. I don't know how much you guys had in your memory, but
I was 7 when you're talking about, you're not talking about Woodstock.
99.
I was talking about when he bit off Evander Holyfield's
no, yeah,
ear.
but
I remember watching
led me
that.
into,
You're
like,
like,
the 90s, and I'm thinking about
Gotcha.
like all
The
the
Woodstock
shit that
era.
like, and Erica was trying to so like she has no memory of this. She was so sheltered. She was like 11 when it happened, and she was only allowed to watch Disney Channel. So I remember going into that and thinking like, this is going to be a fucking shit show. Like Korn is going to be playing there. What do you think is going to happen with 50,000 people when a heavy metal band comes out and just starts fucking ripping a bass line? And all these people are like, they're talking about the drugs that were going through there, and man, wild.
I saw the HBO had. Did you watch the HBO one or the Netflix one?
Netflix.
The recent Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think Netflix did the better one. HBO did one where I think it was just one like movie, but yeah, it's extremely fucked up. And then like they're like doing Limp Bizkit, and then they're sending out Jewel on stage, and people are like, "Show us your tits!" Like, dude, just a bad organized concert.
A lot
Festival.
of kids are going to
Terrible.
see their first set of boobs by logging into their parents' account and like clicking on this documentary because it's just like tits everywhere.
Yeah, it's
tits out for the boys. Tits
Red Hot
out for
Chili
the
Peppers
boys.
just did a set with their dicks out. Like at Woodstock. Their dicks were just out.
Flea.
So literally rocking out with your cock out.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where it originated, or?
Sure. Anyways, back to the Mike Tyson thing, though. If you don't know his story, it is wild and it's worth watching.
Yeah, no, everything they showed, because they showed it coming up on the season, and it just is like one thing after another, and you're just like, holy shit, all this stuff was like
Yeah.
crazy that he did all this, all this stuff happened to him. It's just such a wild life.
All right, Mark, you got one?
I got two, actually. So I went and saw a movie in theaters this past week. I saw 3,000 Years of Longing with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly wasn't that bad. I didn't mind it. I thought I was going to hate it. So this is a George Miller film. He directed like all the Mad Max movies, Brick. But he hasn't done a movie in a long time. And this was very different. Brick, I actually think you would appreciate it because there's a lot of lore. It's about Idris Elba is a genie, and basically he is telling his story of how he got to where he was in the present time with Tilda Swinton and like what he's gone through. So he's been through all these different, eras and dealt with different princes and shit throughout his life. But it's pretty interesting. The ending, the third act kind of sucked because they like went into the whole movie is pretty much Idris Elba talking to Tilda Swinton in this hotel room. And while he's talking, they like, go into flashbacks and all that shit. But the third act was like they go back to London to Tilda Swinton's place, and it's just like kind of all right. I'd rather it just take place in the hotel room the whole time, but it was pretty good. And I was surprised. I did like it as much as I did. I don't think so.
Vibe.
It does kind of distributed. It's a MGM film.
I'm
actually
projecting. So technically an Amazon film. That's probably where we'll see that in a few weeks. Yeah. Brick, are you caught up on Hard Knocks?
Yes, I am caught up on Hard Knocks.
Just the fucking man.
Yeah, that was my favorite part was when he was screaming at the top of his lungs. You need to get your shit together. You need to be on the motherfucking ball all the fucking time. Just
I don't know how they kept a straight face.
Voice.
I don't know how they kept a straight face of players listening to him.
Dude, if Deuce was yelling at me, I wouldn't be laughing.
Dude, that was hilarious though. Like his fucking voice. Oh my god.
Been hitting a helium balloon and trying to keep a straight face through it, but fuck.
So good.
Can I one last doc I want to mention sports wise? I did watch the Captain doc about Derek Jeter. As much as I hate the Yankees, I appreciate the dynasty. You can't deny them. I really loved like remembering all the fucking players and how great baseball was back then. I knew more players back then than I do now, which is shitty to say.
Well, you had a lot more time to follow it. You had baseball cards and
like Roger Clemens joining the team and just such an asshole. Yeah, baseball was a different beast. I feel like back then, or I just remember it differently.
But we grew up with it during the steroid era to a certain degree. Where we were just seeing like '98, just Sosa and McGuire hitting bombs, and then Barry Bonds out there hitting absolute ropes too. And it's just like, ever since then, it's just like, oh yeah, well it's baseball. We're not going to cheat anymore, but we're going to just be more boring, I guess.
The funniest thing is going on right now with Aaron Judge and people tracking him against the record because they're using Roger Maris's record, which has obviously been broken 3 times since then. Mm-hmm. But people are like, no, it was Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is the best hitter to ever play the game of baseball. I know that he did steroids. It wouldn't have mattered. He might not have hit as many dingers. He still would have been the best hitter to ever play the game of baseball until Mike Trout came along. But anyways, I still watch like 5 games of baseball a week because I'm fucking old. And it's something I can put on in the background.
And Barry Bonds would have still been hitting home runs. He just wouldn't have been hitting them fucking 600 feet, dude.
But that's what made it awesome, dude. When he was hitting all those in McCovey Cove, that was incredible.
It's not even the steroid thing, though. I recommend this doc. Go watch this doc. You remember all these pitchers like Orlando Hernandez with the high kick, Chuck Knobloch, like those guys. It was just like, and Kurt Schilling pitching. Well, that was technically steroids or cortisone or whatever, but still, it was baseball. Just it had a different vibe back then.
Is an ultimate fucking scumbag.
Yeah,
he scammed the government out of millions of fucking dollars in relief money for his shitty video game company that he sunk because he couldn't manage it. and now he just derides people on the internet for getting handouts from the government, and he is such an absolute piece of shit. The world would be a better place without him.
I didn't know that.
I don't know what it is, but the New York Yankees Boston Red Sox rivalry just kind of has simmered down. It seems like as well, comparatively to when it was when the captain Derek Jeter was out there and they were both like really good, but also like Boston hadn't won yet in forever.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Damon,
who was like huge personality, and Pedro
and Manny Ramirez and all those. So it's like I don't know, something about back then that like they still wanted it more. It just seemed like there was still something more to be played for. Like the Cubs, again, 2016, when they won the World Series, they got their monkey off their back. And it was like finally these teams started like winning, and then it wasn't so like.
Well, games have gotten longer, which nobody wants. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to get it out of there, right? A Formula One race for me is perfect because if you don't have any major accidents, about an hour. That's perfect. Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, football, you can come in and out on. There are all the games going on at once. That's a little different, but I don't know. Something about it, like, it takes way too fucking long. There's too much downtime. It's boring. But how did we get here?
One thing that they fucking need to get rid of, that I think. So one thing that they need to get rid of for baseball is the fucking fact that pitchers warm up during pitching changes. Fuck that. There's a bullpen for a reason. You're in there throwing 40 pitches before you even get out there.
Range hill to die on. Because like that's
is it me or is Smithers frozen on our end?
He's frozen.
All right, well, I'm still.
I don't think pitchers throw that many pitches though when they come to the mound after getting pulled from the bullpen.
Not unless somebody got hurt.
It's like still, 4, dude. It's not that many.
You're switching pitchers, but come on, warm up in there. Well,
I got a bigger problem with like a big step off. The guys who got to step out of the box and fix their gloves 6 times. I got a problem with all that shit, but. Nobody cares about this. Let's keep talking about other stuff. Anybody catch She-Hulk yet? Nobody? Okay.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I think I might be a little bit laggy.
Hello?
God damn it. Are we having
problems? I saw She-Hulk. I have low expectations.
Go.
I can't tell.
I think Smithers is lagging. Hold on. And the Twitch just stalled. So I think it's your internet, Smithers. Hold on.
Because me and Mark seem to be fine.
Yeah. I think you're fine now, Smithers.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. We're back.
So sorry for the technical issues again.
So She-Hulk.
A portion of having to move everything before I move. Brick, go ahead with your thoughts on She-Hulk. I'll shut up.
So I feel like it's a very low bar to clear because I don't know. I just haven't been very into the recent shows that have come out from Marvel, so my expectations have been lowered. I feel, but because of that, I actually pretty much I did enjoy She-Hulk for the first episode. I haven't seen the Thursday most recent episodes. I'm watching it actually. But both of us were pleasantly surprised. It was funnier than expected, and I liked the lead actress who's playing She-Hulk, and it just seemed like they went right into it with the blood transfusion, more or less, with that car accident right away, and kind of explained how she became She-Hulk. And it's a simple show that I think is actually going to be better than a lot of the more recent shows for Marvel that have come out.
So, Mark, you got any thoughts?
I didn't mind the first episode. Second episode was okay. The CGI bothers me, especially when she is She-Hulk. Her like walking looks really awkward, and when she does a facial expression and they zoom in on it, I'm just like, whoa, that looks really weird. Other than that, I am semi enjoying it right now. I think it's okay. It's better than Moon Knight.
I disagree.
So far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's still early, but I don't know why it really bothers me so much that she's just like they're writing her as such of like I have everything figured out person that it's obnoxious, and
that's how lawyers are. I feel
who knows anything about what she's going through. He's just like trying to help her, and she's like, "No, I got this."
Yeah, no,
right.
Yeah.
That was a little frustrating.
You don't understand what it's like.
For 14 years of like being like quietly a murderer who just like destroying major cities and whole civilizations. And
he
he's
literally
like,
tried to kill him.
Like, yeah, you know what?
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You've got it real hard.
Right, yeah. And the Hulk's like, not having it, dog.
He probably killed a family in that fucking city throwdown where he just was tossing cars.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Rate the shows that have come out for Marvel since they've come out.
I think Loki was probably the best.
I go Loki, WandaVision, probably 1, 2 as well.
I like Hawkeye a lot.
Hawkeye
I would
was
put
really good,
Hawkeye
too.
maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'd have to think
I'm
about
trying to
that
think.
more.
I think I might have liked Falcon and Winter Soldier at 3.
Nah, I thought that was pretty
Honestly,
boring.
better. I thought it was better than Miss Marvel was pretty down there. What else? What else do we have though? We have Moon Knight. Moon Knight was down there. I didn't really super
liked
love that
Moon
one
Knight.
either. It was fine. It was fine. It just didn't do anything groundbreaking. And then is there one more I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing one more.
Probably. I don't know. It's really hard to keep them straight. Some of them are pretty forgettable. Did you say WandaVision? Anyways,
Yeah, I think that was my 2.
I'm going to keep giving this a shot because the comics are actually really fucking good, and it's got an interesting premise. I don't know. There's a lot that they could introduce into this. They bring in Abomination and Emil Blonsky, and they're giving a cool story here. So we'll see what happens.
Perfect.
All right. Anything else before we move on to our stupid ass movie review?
Love this movie.
Great. I'm just, you know what? We're not even gonna wait for the full fart. This is what happens when you give someone too much power. No one ever says no to Kevin Hart or Mark Wahlberg. And this movie is just an utter piece of shit. I'm mad that I had to watch it, even though I didn't have to leave my couch. There were maybe 2 or 3 times where I exhaled a little harder than normal through my nose that might have been halfway to a giggle, but it's not funny. I think the only funny part had to do with shit, and that's because shit is just inherently funny. And then it made me think of
red-haired
something
guy?
that actually was funny with like who pooped the bed, and it was Kevin
Oh,
Hart who
you-
pooped the bed. But other than that, dude, this is a nothing movie, and I'm mad that I had to watch it.
I thought this was the funniest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
I know that
Bar
was
none.
actually you're trying to troll me, but I know that was still painful for you to say because you acknowledge constantly that we do not get good comedies anymore.
We do not get good comedies. Having said that, this is the best comedy I've ever seen by a million. Step Brothers, peace. See ya. Anchorman original, gone. Nothing.
Airplane,
compared
nope.
Grandma's Boy? No.
yeah, zero
not
zilch.
happening.
Ain't got nothing on Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg doing some me time, dog. Having said that, I also didn't finish this movie, so that is what it is.
You didn't finish it?
I was watching it, and I got past the cat scene where he fought the tiger
The
or
mountain
the
lion.
mountain lion,
The Mountain Lion.
and I don't know.
Not a tiger.
It was fine. It was fine from what I saw, and then I literally had to go do something, and then I just was like, I could go back and watch this, or I can watch Mike. And I was like, I'm just gonna watch Mike and eat Portillo's.
You probably made the right choice. This is an obvious skip it out of me. Mark, I know that you love your doppelganger, Mark Wahlberg. So what were your thoughts on this movie?
Dude, I liked the best part was Alan, Andrew Santino from Dave.
Mm-hmm.
He's dude, that was the only enjoyment I've got from this movie. I'm gonna say skip it. Honestly though, like I'm on the line of like save it, skip it, because I didn't mind it as much. It was so stupid. It was pretty horrible, but at the same time, I like would wake up, pour my coffee, not really pay attention. Nolan's running around, and it would just be on in the background. But I could follow along. The plot of this movie is so predictable.
There's nothing
you
to
know,
follow. Yeah.
yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. I was always just waiting for Alan to come into the picture and say something stupid. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I'll say skip it.
Yeah, though, do we recognize Kevin Hart's wife, Regina Hall?
Oh yeah, she was awesome in all of the well, not all of them, but most
the
of the
scary
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 movies.
movies.
The original scary movie trilogy, absolutely.
Yeah. Brenda,
She's so funny, honestly.
she was Ray's girlfriend, or Ray was her boyfriend, and she was his beard. Yeah. I'm going to fart all over these walls, Ray, is a line that I can never get out of my head.
No, it was funny. No, it was funny when he just like lets it rip after his party, and the babysitter was still there, and he's just like, Sorry.
Again, that's funny because
He's like, don't walk over here. Don't
it's
walk over here.
fart and or shit related, not because
Yeah.
this movie made it funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got nothing else to say about this, man.
Did you guys recognize grown up smart guy?
No. Oh yeah, Jimmy Yang.
Taj Mowry?
Yeah, I did notice that. I was
No,
like,
not
I didn't
Jimmy
mention
Yang.
Smart guy.
Oh,
Todd. He's a
He's a
smart
smart
guy.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
One of the
Disney show?
He was the beekeeper.
Yes. Taj Mowry. Yeah. Yes.
I got you. Wow, what a
We
piece
were
of
on,
shit movie.
we were on point there, Mark. We
Nice.
sang at the exact same time.
When do we have an actual good movie coming out again?
Halloween ends October 14th, I think.
There has to. Dude, that's a whole month and a half.
I
from now.
cannot wait for the new Halloween movie. Dude, I look forward to those every year. I'm just like, he's not going to die ever.
That's what I'm saying about is Laurie Strode just like the dumbest person on the planet? Like, just leave town.
Just like, let him burn.
If
watched
you've gotten
him murder
almost
half
murdered,
the fucking population last time. You think
There's
you're gonna
gotta be
get him this time?
there's got to be some part of her that's like, part of me has killed all these people too, because I have not been smart enough to literally leave the country at this point. You're gonna be a hermit in this town where he's clearly like maybe an hour and a half away, or you can just go and live in Italy or anywhere else, China.
Yeah.
Even Russia's better off. Like,
Michael Myers isn't taking the fucking economy class flight to Greece.
exactly. Of course, they would find a way for him to just like walk onto like a trading ship and just
Yeah, he
like
could fucking
stand there for fucking 12 hours, just like
He just teleports. Yeah.
that works too.
Is
They
that
do
what
have
you
that.
think he does in his downtime, or do you think he like sits down crisscross applesauce?
He doesn't seem like he has the need. I don't think he's got the need or ability to be able to sit there crisscross applesauce.
Good point. Good point. I like that no matter how fast he can recover from like gunshot wounds, once your knees are gone, they're still gone.
There's a reason why he walks the whole time, people. Like, he can't run. It's his knees are gone.
I like the idea that in the afterlife, like, yeah, we can fix everything except your fucking knees, man.
Your knees, yeah, once those are shot, dude.
Can we make a pact, guys?
Let's
Can
do
we
it.
promise that we're going to go see the Jeepers Creepers Reborn movie when it hits theaters?
No.
Come on. Come on.
You can save that for whenever you want to do a punishment for us.
Dude,
Just
they're
get that
rebooting it.
going,
No,
dude.
it's not like they're not continuing like the straight to DVD Jeepers Creepers. This is the new Jeepers Creepers. This is a new trilogy they're going to be releasing. It's going to be hitting theaters.
Links to diddlers in the last Jeepers Creepers movies. I don't want to
That
be
was-
associated with any of that.
Wasn't that one at like a carnival or
I don't
something?
know.
Or like a
I don't-
baseball game?
We were at Veronica's wedding. Shout out Veronica if you're listening to this. And it was in a vineyard, and we were making the joke that Amanda, my sister-in-law, was creeping around in the between the rows, and she was the Jeeper Creeper.
The Jeeper Creeper.
Yeah. So
I can't
that
wait.
movie is still in the zeitgeist. People still reference it.
It's coming out actually in a couple weeks, September 19th.
That's got to be a straight to
gotta go.
streaming, right?
Nope.
There's no way
No,
I'm going to a
it's not.
theater to watch that piece of shit.
It's hitting theaters. It says right here the movie is set to be the beginning of an all-new trilogy for the Jeepers Creepers franchise.
I'm not arguing
Hitting
with you. I'm
theaters.
telling you I'm not going to the theater.
We're going.
Okay.
We have to.
I'll see you there.
We owe it to Jeepers.
I do.
Just wait for me
It is.
outside.
It is kind of. I love how they immediately were like jumping into a trilogy right off the bat.
Yeah, they're like, we're fucking doing it.
A brand new trilogy of Jeepers Creepers. Did they even make a third one like the first time
Oh,
around?
yeah. I think they made 4, but they were all straight to DVD.
Oh,
There
So-
might only been 3. Maybe there was like a point in time where all of the movies were the same. You know, we talk about like those sister movies that were going on, and some of those all go together. You remember like the Mothman fucking movie, the Mothman who now lives down the street at O'Hare.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember all of those movies coming out around the same time.
Well, boys, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but it looks pretty barren on things that we're going to be reviewing in September.
Well, we already have one. We're seeing Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
You know what? It
September
doesn't-
19th.
So that's not listed here. So good. Yeah, we'll definitely. I get that. Honestly, is like the number one thing we can see. That's crazy that September sucks ass this much.
There's got to be a lot of TV shows coming or something.
Well, we can do Lord of the Rings because that comes out next week. We can do an
Jeepers
episode there. We
Creepers.
can also
Nobody better to
do-
talk about Lord of the Rings than us 3.
Yeah, well, both Mark and I both saw it,
Yeah,
so we're fine.
I
We
remember
just
more
gotta
about it
catch
than Mark
up,
does,
man.
and I've never fucking
vividly
seen it.
remember it.
I remember it from all of the cartoons that have done parodies of the entire story in like 15 minutes.
Schmeeple.
I really, yeah, I guess. God damn it. We don't do it, I guess. But for some reason, I literally don't see anything actually good coming to theaters in the
Brutal.
entire month of September.
Well, maybe they're saving them
Maybe I'm
all up
looking
for
at the wrong.
October then, so we'll find out. All right, boys,
One can hope.
let's wrap this up because my kid is upstairs and it sounds like he's having a real bad time. So we're going to try and get back on more of a regular schedule. I have no idea how that's going to work if I have another kid on the way soon. But we do appreciate everybody who tunes in. And thanks to Jason for filling in for me last time. And next time, 306, we'll find something. There'll be some Game of Thrones talk and who knows what else.
2.
Yeah, we'll definitely get bigger and better on the Game of Thrones talk. There's a new movie called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, which is another Regina Hall movie where she's a pastor or the wife of a mega church in the South. So
Yeesh.
maybe we'll go that route. Jordan Peele's in it. Daniel Kaluuya, Regina Hall, 102.
Not sold.
It's comedy.
Yeah, we'll find
I'm
something.
not sold either, but what else? There's like literally, if you guys look, there's literally zilch nothing.
Yeah, we'll figure it
Yeah.
out. We
Jeeper
always do.
creeper.
But sounds
All right,
good.
y'all. If you all want to come grab a beer or something, I could probably make something happen. I don't know what's going on for the rest of the day, but good to see you.
Word.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can find us at the Chumpcast on all social media platforms. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. You can leave a voicemail. Maybe we'll play it on the air. Ask a dumb question. Get some dumb answers.
I figured it out. Pinocchio. We're gonna watch Pinocchio next week, dude. Tom Hanks.
No.
Fuck.
There's literally nothing else out.
Mark, can you find us some psychedelics?
We should just rewatch all the Jeeper Creepers movies that have released.
All right, I'm going to end this show now because, good God. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Until next time.
Jumps out,
Ciao,
motherfucker.
baby.